In this video, I'm going to be explaining to you all the different requirements that Amazon needs you to provide them to create your seller account. So I suggest you have a checklist ready to make sure you have all these things accessible, because if you don't, you need to get them immediately so you can create your seller account and get it approved. Now, the very first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a valid credit card, and this is going to be a credit card, not a debit card. So all these different options will be acceptable: Visa, Master, American Express, Discover, or any of the major international credit card companies. Those will all be acceptable. Once again, if you have a debit card, this will not work and you are going to need a credit card. So if you don't have one, start applying for credit cards from different credit card companies right away. And here is a pro tip: if you have not the best credit score and you are not really able to get a credit card, you can apply for something called a secured credit card. This basically means that you are giving the credit card company a certain amount of money, usually around $500, and in return they're going to give you a credit card with a limit of $500. So basically the credit card company is going to hold your $500 deposit for a certain amount of time until they can see that you are making your payments and you are a trustworthy borrower. And then once they see that, they will give you your $500 deposit back. And this is called, once again, a secured credit card. Most of the time, if you have a bad credit score, you will get accepted for one of these secured credit cards. And this will be totally fine because you don't need a credit card with an extremely high limit, because you're only going to need this credit card to sign up for your Amazon account. And that only has a monthly fee of $39.99. So you could pay that off every month with a $500 credit card and it would be totally okay. Now, the next thing is going to be a bank account. And if you want to go even further, this would be a business bank account. So I highly recommend, even if you are selling as a sole proprietor or if you're selling as an LLC, you should really create a business bank account. You can also get a good sign-up bonus and get some free money as well for creating a business bank account. But if you don't have a business bank account and you're not able to make one, you can still use a personal bank account. It just gets a little bit more confusing when it comes tax time. I'm just trying to make your lives easier by making everything organized, but a personal bank account will still work. Now, one more thing before we get back into the video: if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you do so now. And also, if you guys are interested in having me teach you how to personally run and start your own Amazon FBA business, then go ahead and go down to the description and check out the first link. That is going to be a link to my website where you can check out my course and mentorship. And in my course, it teaches you how to start an Amazon FBA business from start to finish. And also you get help from me directly one-on-one, where I can help you and coach you through the entire process. Now, that's pretty much it. Make sure you check that link out and let's continue the video. Next, you're gonna need a phone number. And this is pretty simple. We all know what a phone number is. Just make sure it is your number and your name and it is not someone else's phone number, and then you will be okay. Now, you will also need some tax information, and this depends. If you are a sole proprietorship, you're gonna need your social security number, and I'm sure most of you know what your social security number is. If you're in another country and they use a different type of identification number, that is what you're gonna use. If it's your personal identification number and you use it for your taxes, that's probably going to be the number that they want. And then also, if you have a different legal entity like an LLC, S Corp, or C Corp, then you're going to have something called an EIN, and that stands for Employee Identification Number. It's basically like the social security number for your LLC or your C Corp or S Corp. And once you create your legal entity, this information will be provided on the documents or the papers that you're going to get after you create your legal entity. So it's no problem and it will be very easily accessible. Now, that's all the basic information you're going to need. Sometimes there is additional information that gets requested by Amazon to you, and this is for additional verification to make sure you are who you are. And this is not going to happen to everyone, but if it does happen to you, then you may be required to provide some additional information like a scanned copy of a passport or a national ID. Sometimes they will also ask for a copy of your bank statements or your credit card statements to verify that those are yours. I usually see that this additional information is usually required for people who are selling outside of the country that they live in. So if you're from any country in Europe and you're trying to sell in the United States marketplace, you may be required to produce some of this additional information. Now, if you are in the UK and you want to sell in the UK marketplace, then usually this probably wouldn't happen to you. But if you are in the UK and you're trying to sell in the US marketplace, then this might happen to you as well. So if you are selling in the country that you are a citizen of, then it probably won't happen. But if you're trying to sell in a country that you're not a citizen of, then this most likely will happen. Now, also, sadly, Amazon doesn't let every country around the world sell on its marketplaces. Some countries are excluded. I will pull up all the countries that are accepted for seller registration right now. You guys can look through it. If you see your country on this list, then that means you are okay to sell as long as you are a citizen of any one of these countries on this list. Now, if your country is not on this list, then you are probably not going to be able to sell unless you move to one of these countries and you become a citizen. Now, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys know exactly what you're going to need to produce when you create your seller account. I'll see you in the next video.